So let's get into the nuts and bolts of virtual care. We'll start with looking at how they're generated. The reset ramp-up starts with only team-generated virtuals, and then appointment line-generated virtuals come a little later. So let's start with the team ones. We talked in an earlier video about scrubbing. So let's imagine that we just identified a future encounter where we could meet that patient need sooner virtually. Anybody can start this call: tech, nurse, or provider. When starting out, it'll take the teams a bit to learn how to explain virtual care to a patient. They need to understand that it's the same as a visit, recorded in Alta, and part of their medical record. We found that once technicians and providers get the positive feedback from patients that come from virtual care and its convenience and thoroughness, the successes of patients jumping at the chance for a virtual visit goes up substantially. So let's sample a call. I'll be the tech. Hi, this is Senior Man Northway. I'm calling from the Ramstein Family Health Clinic. Is Dara Warren available?
Yes, this is Dara.
Great. To make sure I have the right patient, can I have you verify your full name and social?
Yes, Dara Sabin Warren, 001-08-2018.
Great. Do you have a minute or two to talk about your appointment? I saw that you have an upcoming appointment on Thursday for having trouble sleeping. We actually have a new option called a virtual encounter where we can save you a trip and your provider can likely take care of what you need right now and do your visit over the phone. Would you be interested in that? We can start now, or I'm happy to call you back at a more convenient time as well.
What's a virtual encounter?
A virtual encounter is an appointment done over the phone. I'll do everything with you that I would normally do here in the clinic, except for take your vitals. I'll then give a report to your PCM, he'll do a record review and call you back. You guys will discuss your plan of care together. If you need labs, referrals, medications, that's all handled over the phone. Keep in mind we won't cancel your appointment until your PCM has talked to you, just in case we still need to see you in person. Sometimes we need to have you come in for a quick physical exam, but most of the time your doc can take care of what you need after discussing it with you.
Really? That sounds amazing. I just booked that appointment for next week, and you want to do it today? Wow, thank you so much. That's going to really save my day. Let's do it.
Once the patient accepts the virtual encounter, you'll walk them into the day by clicking New Appointment, selecting Spec, get with your GPM to do this if it's not an option on your appointment type menu when you click New Appointment, and then adding a double asterisk before the reason for visit. They'll then do a quick copy forward to edit during the screening. Our providers here create a lot of these themselves, as we each have learned that creating the walk-in and doing the copy forward isn't hard at all. The technician, or whoever generated the visit, would now talk to the patient and complete the encounter just as any other, with the exception of vital signs. At this point, if the provider is in the room and ready to take over, the call can be transferred. If they aren't immediately available, the tech will let the patient know that the provider will call them as soon as they get to a free spot in their schedule. The tech or nurse will then place ready and can add a good contact number or time frame to call if appropriate in the comments section of Alta. Once the provider sees ready in the comments and has some white space, they will call the patient and complete the encounter with the patient and then close the encounter. Of course, if they determine that a face-to-face exam is needed, they can still close this virtual encounter and add the patient to the priority access clinic list to come in for a quick exam. They will likely have done 80% of the work with this virtual, but sometimes you just need to do a brief exam. More on this in the priority access video tutorial. When coding the encounter, for now, due to Alta limitations that AFMO is very aware of and hopefully Genesis will solve, add the procedure code 98969 to the A&P and use the 99499 E&M code in disposition. The previously booked future appointment can now have a scrubbed to VE comment code and be patient canceled. Great, you've just improved your access. Every time you do that, a GPM gets its wings. No, but you get more autonomy and flexibility to take care of your patients. Later in the ramp-up, you'll reach a point where the appointment line will also generate virtuals for you. It's kind of like they're scrubbing for you and putting these on today's schedule. It works like this. The appointment line doesn't need a complicated algorithm. It's simple. They do what they always do. But once they've decided that the patient is eligible for a routine, future appointment, they get offered the choice between booking traditionally into the next available templated time slot or having a virtual encounter with their provider. Today. When the patient chooses the virtual encounter, they will walk it into the provider's schedule the same way, but this time with a single asterisk before the reason for visit. Then the chief complaint, and then a good callback number. That's it. And it works for central appointing as well as market appointing. We'll include a copy of the workflow and protocol for you to check out as well.
And before we forget, let's talk for a second about why we don't template our virtuals. At Ramstein, we don't template our virtuals except for PHAs, which we throw in at the end of the day to prevent people from getting 8 PHAs on one day and none on another day. It just kind of smooths that out. But for our real virtuals where we're actually completing an encounter, we like walking them in. And the reason is because we can create these encounters on the fly while we're on the phone with somebody. There's no stopping to find an appointment for them, book them in, do you have booking keys? For anybody that's actually done this, you know what I mean about it being kind of clunky. So we found that creating walk-ins is super easy, and it works really well, and we use these as spec walk-ins so that retrospectively we can tell exactly how many virtuals everybody's doing. So there you have it. That's how to do virtuals with Reset.
Virtuals.
Oh, virtuals.